the next thing he needed to do is offer up. He needed to offer up himself to be molded by God. Are you willing to offer up yourself? Look what he says. He said, I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like your hired servant. Notice what he says. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son, so make me. That's an offering statement. Make me an hired servant. I offer myself to be your hired servant. I'm not offering myself to be a son anymore. I think I've disqualified myself. But I'm offering myself to be at least a hired servant. I'll have food and shelter, and I can work. And so he returned home. I think again of the Apostle Paul, that when he was on the way to killing Christians in Damascus, and this voice spoke to him. And he said, who are you? And the voice said, I'm Jesus, whom you're persecuting. That changed Paul. And he offered up his life from that point on to be a bondservant. I mean, he switched sides just like that. I think about it, Isaiah, that when he had that encounter, he was a depressed leader. He was grumbling and complaining, but when he had that encounter in Isaiah chapter 6, he offered himself. He said, whoa, I'm unclean. I live among people that are unclean. And when he got done, he said, I offer myself. God says, whom shall I send? And Isaiah said, I offer myself, send me. Do you realize that when he said, send me, then he asked God, what do I need to say? And God says, here's what you say, but the people will never, ever, ever, ever listen to you. They'll never listen to you. This is my word, but they won't listen. Can you imagine, as a young preacher starting out, saying you could preach the gospel for the rest of your life and nobody will ever be converted or listen to you? Would you even start? But as a response to encountering the Lord, Isaiah offered himself. I think of Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus was fed up with the way things were. And he says, I'm going to climb a tree to meet Jesus. And so when he met Jesus, he said, I'm coming to your house today. What happened? He said, he stood up and he said, listen, if I've cheated anybody, and first of all, he said this. He said, I am giving half of my possessions to the poor. And he said, if I've cheated anybody out of anything, I'm giving them back 4 times the amount. What an offering. When we truly meet Jesus, we offer ourselves. Transformation begins at the point of offering.